Starfield is a massive epic RPG where you'll explore the universe and build a pilot to venture the galaxies. There are a ton of quests and a ton of ways to play, and if you want to level up fast, we'll need to dive into 10 things you must do to build the best character in Starfield. This video is sponsored by Bethesda. Special thanks to them for making this video possible. Join the Vanguard. Explore in New Atlantis. Early on in the game, you will visit the New Atlantis city, which is a utopian city shown in the trailers. This is a citadel-like hub that is a great kicking off point for understanding the factions available to you and getting familiar with the spaceport and your introduction into your ship. In New Atlantis, in the Mast District, there is a United Colonies embassy with a representative for the Vanguard faction. Speak to him as soon as possible as you are set free in the city, because this will give you the best introduction into the state of the universe and the story timeline lore of the United Colonies and the factions that you will interact with as you dive into your playthrough. This will set the tone and help you to better understand who you want to align with and give better character and life to the planets that you'll be visiting. One more bonus: early on you will stumble upon contraband that is very valuable compared to the rest of the gear you'll find. All I'll say is that you may want to get caught bringing it into a settled system. This may unlock an epic quest line for you. Do the main quest. I know it's a Bethesda game, and normally you would get out in the world and explore, but I have to tell you to do the first 6 main missions first. Heading to the lodge and starting the main storyline quest with Constellation is crucially important to a big jump into big set piece main missions, because it will unlock opportunities for you to see what is probably the best story ever told from Bethesda. Nothing will be spoiled as I explain this, but if you wait to do the main quest, like many of you may do, like you do in open world games, you're leaving out a poignant story tone and things that will be available to you. Number 4, third person and first person. Explore, walk around and immerse yourself in third person. See your character in the gear you're wearing, and this is a tip that the game doesn't explain. In the menu of your inventory, you can go to your spacesuit, go to your jetpack and your helmet individually, and press right bumper to hide your outer space gear while inside settlements or peaceful buildings with oxygen. This keeps you from equipping and unequipping your gear when you walk out into space to give you that immersion, and also will keep you from suffering frostbite or radiation damage as you walk out accidentally wearing your street clothes. And this is perfect to enjoy the visuals and get the best experience. But while inside cramped interiors or outposts where there's combat, it's a good idea to switch to first person for rummaging through lockers looking for gear and getting into frenetic first person combat, aiming down sights with weapons, throwing grenades, and you can mix it up between third person and first person combat. But keep in mind, the game does not allow you to change the camera while you're reloading a gun for some reason, so keep that in mind if you're in a heavy firefight. Number 5, load up your favorites wheel. Starfield can feel much like a conventional first-person shooter, but the access to switch weapons can be done behind a pause menu in your inventory screen, but it's very important that you set many or all of your favorite slots with the D-pad up, right, left, and down as you gather weaponry. Set your snipers in one direction like up, set your shotguns in one direction like left, and medication to heal is already set in the down direction. This will speed up combat situations and allow you to do more on-the-fly creative combat maneuvers with some of your favorite weapons. Number 6, menu shortcuts. As you head out to launch from a planet surface, there's a star map and a local systems map available to you that seems very familiar for fans of games like Mass Effect, but the way you interact with these menus can be very cumbersome at first and not a lot like Mass Effect. And you may find yourself going back and forth with trial and error, stumbling, trying to get and figure out how to get to certain destinations. My first advice is to hold the start button on your controller when you're in game. This will bring you directly to the star map. And while holding X while looking at destinations, most times you can immediately jump to get into space or the planet you want to land on. If you're out on foot, pressing the left bumper will bring up your scanner. And instead of using this to scan the flora and fauna, you can use it to access a surface map, which will allow you to fast travel on foot between explored locations or fast travel back to your ship. The combination of these things will speed up the time it takes to get back and forth on and on board and into space where quests are about to happen. But another piece of advice is sometimes it's a very good idea to get into third person, take the time to walk up to your huge, massive ship, walk underneath it, walk around into the cargo bay, and get into your ship manually. There are times where this immersion is unmatched, and it is so much better than getting into a shortcut through a menu. Don't scan every single planet. Yes, the star map is very familiar, and across the multiple galaxy systems, it can feel like that, and your natural reaction may be to enter into each solar system, fly to every single planet and moon, and visit and see what it has to offer looking for side quests. But Starfield is much more organic, and 1,000 planets is not something you want to try and take on with so much to do. Some predetermined destinations will be available to you inside solar systems, but organic exploration will be available to you when you're in main quests and activities and quests that you pick up. When you land on a new planet, you'll be given 4 to 5 procedurally generated outposts, caves, or unknown structures that are 2 to 3 minute hikes away from your landing ship. Use your boost pack to cover ground more quickly, but oftentimes checking out outposts, abandoned manufacturing facilities, or pirate camps is a good opportunity to get into creative combat and look for loot to sell back to your favorite ports. No, you cannot walk from one end of the planet all the way around to where you started from, but when you get onto planets, you'll understand why this creative decision isn't in the game. Some of the hikes that you'll be taking, some 1,000 meters or more, will take several minutes. Bethesda explains that the worlds are made up of segmented, procedurally generated places for you to land, and you can land on almost any location in a planet unless it's a gas giant or covered in water. Persuade. When you first start unlocking skills, there will be so many choices that will be difficult to pick where you should put your points. After spending 100 hours with Starfield, I can tell you that one of the most important skills to invest in is Persuade. The dialogue and character interaction in this game is unmatched, and just listening to what people have to say and convincing them to push their boundaries to your will makes the Persuade skill really powerful. Also, stock up on meds that will increase your persuasion abilities, since it is set to a percentage roll of the dice, and naturally organic arguments and persuasion situations can turn in your favor if you have leveled up and taken a hit of meds before you go into negotiation. And this can be just as satisfying as letting your gun do the talking. Set an outpost to stash your crafting materials. Starfield, unlike what we've experienced in Fallout 4, Skyrim, or even 76, will have you over-encumbered faster than normal, as gear is much heavier and there is so much to pick up and carry. But the penalty for being over-encumbered is much more lenient in Starfield, as it will reduce how long or fast you can jog or sprint, and not allow you to fast travel, but you can hike back to your ship by jogging without much penalty. Store your crafting resources in your ship cargo. Even that is quite limited, and you'll soon discover you'll need more storage if you want to upgrade your suit and your weapons. Find a nice planet to land on and use one of your 8 outpost camps available, and set down a storage box and set all of your crafting items there so they will not weigh down your ship or weigh you down. And the best part is that Starfield allows you to craft from any workbench at any location, and it will pull those crafting materials from wherever you've stashed them from your ship or on your outpost. Put points into ship upgrades. Many times you can go out into space and not be tormented by enemies flying in the cosmos, but you need to be ready for combat by quick selecting power to your shields or to your weapon system, and putting points into your piloting and ship upgrades will give you more power to have a more resilient ship that is stronger and faster. And you'll find as you take the long road for each level up that some of these skill-based points are quite precious, but as the guns are pretty powerful when you're on foot, you'll want to use those points for skill-based level ups in your ship and your piloting. You will want to have the skill tree running in your favor by leveling up the ship combat systems and their upgrades, and most importantly is the upgrade to be able to target in a VAT style, which allows you to dock and board a ship, steal it, register it, and sell it at port for a couple thousand credits. Stack all of your quests. Bethesda has poured a lot of time and attention into your faction missions and the people that you will meet and work for, whether they're considered good or bad. There is no faction loyalty meter, so if you want to please the Crimson Fleet pirates while also working for the United Colonies, you can do both and still get great missions available to you without angering other factions. Walk the line between making credits, helping humanity, and getting and buying or stealing the ships, gear, and weapons you want to enhance your playthrough. Starfield is available beginning September 1st on Xbox and PC. For those who have purchased the Starfield Premium Edition, it will be available for everyone else on September 6th. There are limitless ways you can build your character, who you can align with, and how many outcomes for your space explorer. If you set yourself with these 10 tricks and character build, you will be on your way to having the best experience into the Starfield. This is Colteastwood. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Starfield, finally. If you get a chance, check out my no spoilers review. I have that up on the channel. I poured so much time into this game over 2 weeks, averaging about 7 or 8 hours per day. It's all I could think about, and special thanks to Bethesda for sponsoring this tips and tricks video. The game is just massive. If you end up enjoying this video, let me know by liking and subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell to be notified of new weekly content. If you want to further support the work we're doing here on the Colteastwood channel, you can join the channel membership below, and that gets you early access for videos. It also gets you entered into monthly merch giveaways of your choosing. Also, if you support the channel, you can feed this guy who looks like he needs a meal. This is Loki. Anyway, yes. Also, we have the X&C podcast that runs every Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific time and 8 p.m. Eastern. And they're middle-aged game guy, and I talk about all the news. We break down some of the leaks and everything. That's a really good show. You can check that out. It's also on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts for you on demand, and it's free. So appreciate that. But I want to know what you think about this. Are you going to listen to some of this advice, or are you going to take your own road? Are you going to become, here's a real question. Are you going to become a terrible person in Starfield? Or are you going to become the humanitarian of the galaxy? Let me know in the comment section. And while you're there, as I always say, please be nice.